All right. So today we're going to dissolve ionic compounds in distilled water. All right. So the questions are, how do we make an accurate solution? What's the solute and the solvent? And how do we mix it all up? So what I'm going to do is demonstrate this on the chemical balance. All right. So the first thing, I got a bottle that said KOH. So I'm going to go down. Oh, here it is. All right. So here's the one that I got. And it says, let me make this small enough so we can see the top. It says mass to measure is 14.00 grams. All right. So that's the amount that I have to measure. So I have my balance here. Let me turn to the camera. All right, I have my balance here. All right, let me get a little farther away. Okay. All right, now, here is my stuff that I'm using. You can tell it's potassium hydroxide. All right, and so I want to measure 14 grams of that. The first thing that I have to do, though, is put a plate on, because you can't put a chemical directly on the tray. So I'm going to put the, oh wait, let me zero it first. You didn't see me zero it, did you? All right, so when you look at it right here on the edge, it's a little bit too high. So I'm fixing it. All right. All right, it's good. So now I'm going to put this weighing thing in there because I want to find out how much it measures. So let's see if it's as much as 1 gram. All right, I'm moving over to 1 gram. It's more than 1 gram. Is it more than 2? It's more than 2 grams. Good grief. More than 3. All right. It's right about 4 grams. So I'm going to have to go back to 3. You can see the 3 through. And I'm going to go down pretty far because I know it's almost 4. Let's see. Oh, gee. Let me go all the way. It's actually going to be 4. So let me put, so you can see the 4 through there. Yeah, it's just going to be a little bit over 4. All right, so I have to keep moving it a little bit that way. All right, so now with this little plate on it, I'm going to write down this measurement, which is 4.20. 4.20. So let's go back. Let's go back to our page and write 4200. All right, let me just do, I want to draw with my finger, draw with touch. All right, so it's 4.20. Now, I'm going to add what I'm supposed to measure out, which is 14. All right, 0.00. All right, so 0, 0. And now I know that if I set my balance to 18.20, all right, 18.20, sorry for this writing. All right, then I can scoop out enough until the balance is even again. So I'm going to put 18, so I'm going to move 10, and then 8. All right, 18.2. And you'll see that this went down. Let me go back to the camera now. All right, so I made this to 18.20 right there. And now notice how this went down quite a bit. All right, the little marker went down to the bottom. So as I spoon in the KOH, potassium hydroxide, that is going to gradually rise. Then I'll know I have exactly 14.00 in this dish. All right, so here goes. The hard part is we never really know exactly what that's going to look like. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, let me put in some. All right, let me get on the other side. All right, so it's a little easier. All right, so right now, that doesn't appear to have changed things very much. So I'm going to put in another scoopula of it. All right, and another scoopula. Let me check on where it's still pretty far down. So that isn't really changing it much, is it? So I'm being a little more aggressive. Oh, still more. All right, still more. I'm being a little frightened. All right, that's quite a bit. And this guy isn't moving. Oh, he's stuck. But no, he's... All right, let's keep going. This is not granular. You notice this is looks like coconut. Oh, now we see it went way up. Do you see how it's way up here? So that means this is too much. So then I'm going to take some out and keep putting it in. What I'm going to give you is baby food jars filled with this, so it will be easier than what I'm doing. All right, so I still have more. So I'm picking up some big pieces so I can... Ideally, you do it a little at a time. My problem is I can't see as well as you'll be able to see. All right, now, let's see. Now I've done a little bit more. Shouldn't have picked such a sticky balance. All right. There. I'm close. See how it's just a little bit up? So I'm going to take a little back. And I'm going to just make sure. Let's just take that giant piece out. And then let's see what it does. Still too much. All right, so this is kind of what you'll be doing, although it probably won't be. Now, a little bit more. I need to take a little bit more. All right, it's still falling. A little bit more. Let me put one big piece in. If your balance sticks, you'll have to do something like this as well. Look at that. I just need to add one little piece. Oh, look at it. It's right on. Awesome. Awesome. So, now you're probably thinking, what do I do when I have that done? Well, let me get a funnel. Now, what I'm going to do is use a funnel to get all that I measured out right here into the flask. All right? So, here's the flask, and I just used a funnel, and I poured it all in. And now, I'm just going to shake it a little, push it down. All right? What's hard is that these are kind of big to go in there. All right, so I'm going to have to beat it up. You will have a granular one where it is easier to do that. All right, so you get as much of that in as you can. All right. Would you hand me a bottle of distilled water? It's over there by the hood. Yeah, thank you. All right, so why is that? Oh, that's blue. Can you rinse that out? And as you try to get this down, rinse it out with tap water, and then I'll hand you some distilled. Here is some distilled. So I've tried to get this down, and because these were bigger pieces than you have, what I'm having to do is try and crush them. But the other thing I can do is dissolve them, all right? Now, the first thing that we want to do is put some water in our container, all right? So, as soon as I get the water, I'll show you what it is I mean. So Gabriel is helping me here. Thank you. All right. So what I'm going to first do, since this is stuck in here, all right, I'm going to put quite a bit of water in here first. All right. In fact, Gabriel, would you fill this about half full with distilled water? Okay. Thank you. All right. Now we're going to put this in, and now because it's much larger than yours will be, I'm going to put water in here to start dissolving it. All right? Because everything that we have will be soluble in water. And if you watch, let me try and get my hand out of the way, it will start dissolving and you'll see it go into the bottle. Probably nobody's will be as hard as this one is because these were giant flakes. The reason I picked this one to show you, though, is because this is pretty toxic and corrosive. So I wanted to be sure that I was the one who did this. All right, so then I make sure I got it all out of the funnel. So I did. All right, and let's make sure it's all out of the stem. It is. So see, there's nothing in there either. All right. I got some on my hand, though, because I can feel it itching. All right. So before we add water to the top, what we're going to do is put a lid on our container like this so we can shake it. So it's much easier to mix it up at this point than it is when you have a full bottle. All right, so can you see that it's pretty clear in there? Yeah, so I'll keep mixing it up for, let's say, a minute. Just back and forth. We have the lid on, you know, with the little spigot closed. All right, so we'll just do this and this. All right, and then we start adding, would you hand me the distilled water? Because I'm going to have to add more. It'll take too long. Thank you. So what I'm going to do here is add water. All right, so I'm going to be very careful doing a quantitative transfer. The reason we're, of course, going to use those bottles is it's really hard to do a quantitative transfer with a gallon jug. All right, but see how I'm getting close? All right, if you see the water level is right where my finger is. See it? All right, we're getting close to the top. Now, there is a black line on this. Let me mark it. All right, so you can see it. All right, so there's this black line on it. And what I'm going to do now is use one of these, and I'm going to add water. All right, until we get up to that line. And, all right. I don't know, can you see? Can you see it get up to that line? I'm just going to keep adding it till it gets very close to that line. All right. I'm going to debubble. All right. Now do this with water again. So you'll always use the bottled water when you get near the line. All right. It's just about perfect. All right. So now I'm going to put the lid on. Whoops. I'm going to put the lid on. All right. And I'm going to make sure that it's really on well. All right. Do you see how I have it really on well? Then I'm going to turn it upside down, right side up, upside down, right side up, and do this 25 times. Up. And what we're trying to do is mix up all that more concentrated stuff at the bottom. All right. And then we're going to have a label to put on this when you are done. Is that what that is? Let's see. Okay. And so you will put a label on this. Let me not show the part. All right. Okay. So then the label goes on like this. When you're done, you make sure the bottle is dry and you put the label on, and then you are done. You are done at the point you have this. All right. So you will have the label before. Whoops, sorry. You will have the label before, though, because what we're doing is making the labels to go on the bottle so you know what it is that you're done. So this was a clear solution. And now we're going to put the label on, and let me show you exactly what the label would have said. It would have said, here's our KOH. All right. It would have said, there it is. It would have said, however many grams of that we put of KOH, 1 m means 1 molar solution, which we'll learn about later. And just make sure that in the process of doing this, your label hasn't gotten loose. If it has, we can put tape on it. All right, so KOH has now been made. It's labeled, and you and I are done. All right, so you have to do this as well as you can so these are correct labels. So I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.